3345 West on Flet FM. Joe Kelly spinning the wheels of steel. Wednesdays at 2 p.m. The best of the underground and avant-garde. 3345 West is best. 3345 West is best.
Roi Verish, go Troca 3 at Daka the Kuig here, Bio in Flirt FM. Very welcome back. It's another 3345 West show here live on Flirt FM. You're listening to Joe Kelly, aka DJ Josheen, whatever you want to call me. I've been called worse, so call me what you want. As controversial as I am, I tend to do that, and but look. If I'm being controversial, it's not for some empty crazy reason. It helps. It does. I'm only doing it to get the best out of everything. Do you know what's the fairest way and the best way? I'm gonna flitter this whole set with tunes because I don't want to get into too much talk, but there's a few topics. That I have bigger fish for frying, and I really do when it comes down to the local stuff. I'm tired of it, I'm tired of trying to fix things that they can't be fixed because it's like there's a curse on them. It's like a dog chasing his tail, Sometimes you just have to look at it and say, you're mad, but I'll leave you at it, So, yeah, he'll run out of energy soon. Let him at it. But, things like, look at Jim Ward's article in the Advertiser was fantastic. Albeit I would add to it more than anything. It was more of a zoomed out view I felt of unification, Irish unification. I felt there was a little bit more concentration needed on the Ulster Protestants to see what they would have thought or how they feel about it. Now, I was lucky enough to have that experience, and I had a very lovely girlfriend who was a Presbyterian from Bangor in County Down, and she was a lovely person, and I'm glad I met her in my travels because she was sent, I think, for a reason, at the time, because when I did live in Derry, Derry has a very radical atmosphere, much more than Galway. It's much more people upbeat, and there's no dragging themselves. It's all up and at it. No matter how bad it is, you're still breathing, you're still walking. Keep doing something. And they've been pushed down. And I have that attitude where, you can try push me down, but it's not going to work. Because I will go to the very end to live and exist, with purpose. And that is the feeling you get off Derry nationalists and Derry Catholics when you live around them. And it does seep into your bloodstream. It does very much, and it becomes part of you. But it was an experience I'll never forget. And when I wrote the book, The Second Republic, I'm glad I went to Derry and did it, and I'm glad I met herself, and I'm glad the two of us had some really, really lovely moments together, and we really tried to understand each other. I really am, and she's living in the north still, of course, because that's her country and that's the way it is. And I, moved away from the north because, truthfully, there was a tension in the air as well. Much different, southern comfort against northern tension. You take southern comfort any day of the week, but it did get into your bloodstream, and the tension did get in some ways, and it'd make you think certain ways. But when you're young and you're ambitious and you're enthusiastic, that can happen as well. But I mean, there's always sensible people around to tell you, come on, this is the way it is. Read this, figure this out. Read this, think about it, talk. And that's the process. And it was a very, very organic process. It was a good process to be around those kind of people as well, that made you think. You don't just rush in. You think, and it was good. It was a very good time. To do that. It was an experience for sure. But Jim Moore's article was very good. I found it quite good. In general, of course, versus the Second Republic, which is more leaned towards the governance system and changing the governance system to a more balanced, fairer country, a more regional system, a cooperative federalism, if you like, very much like the German system, which works very well in Germany. And taking into account the Ulster identity, which has to be taken into account in any way, shape, or form, and other marginal groups in the country, whether they be from, an African background and they're born here, second generation, or an Eastern European, or whatever the case might be, or an outer bloody Alaskan, whatever it is. Those marginal groups have to be included in this, in the Republic. If we're going to finish it off and do it proper, because you're not getting it the way it is. Everything's Dublin. Everything's Dublin centric. Everything's very Dublin centric, and even down the road there, or up the road at the weekend, it was all Dublin centric, and that's only a wee gig. There's hardly anyone bloody at it, and I didn't hear anything. If you passing by, you didn't hear anything. It must be the quietest bloody gig I've ever heard. It was but I wouldn't. Look, it's grand and all. It's nice to have that kind of thing going on as well at the same time. But I didn't agree with the pricing strategy. I thought the pricing strategy was way over the top. I thought it was asking a bit much. It was asking a bit much up against the lineup. No. I mean, you look at, you can go to Fabric. It's £12 to get into Fabric, and a return ticket right there for me to go to Stansted is €23. €23 get me back to Stansted, right? If I did it in time before October 15th, the Fabric night. I'm not going to Fabric, or anything. I'm just giving an example. I will go back. When I go back to London, I'll probably visit Fabric because it was a great time. It was a good experience, and nonetheless, I would be able to get. I've only spent up on €35 at this stage, and then I get a £10 return ticket to Liverpool Street, and that's another €45, and then I walk down to Clerkenwell, or else I get an Oyster card, and that's only going to cost me £2.50. So I'm still saving about £7, maybe up on €10, and I'll have a place to stay because Irish boys always got a place to stay in London, so accommodation's going to be tada. So you add all these things up, but maybe it's globalization, and here again it's another tale of being on the edge of Europe and not being having tighter margins. I'd say, for all the pomp and the ceremony and the hype and whatnot that goes into these little things that go on, I'd really, if I was anything to do with organising, which I wouldn't bother, because it is not worth expending the energy on it, because I know well it is, you're not in the right demographic area to bring a hefty return to yourself, so you want to be over in the east or up in the northeast, really. And depends what you're running as well. You have all these, it's well spread out, all these the lineup is too well spread out. I mean, one decent band and two good local bands or regional bands, and then throw on two good enough DJs near the end. Man, you save a lot of money, you know what I mean? £40 would do that, €40 would suffice. That good 40, yeah. 16, not a chance, no way, man. That's just asking way too much. But anyway, back to this. That's that kind of, what would it be? You find a name for that. It's Skinny Jeans Ireland, it's Middle Ireland on parade. Really. Middle Ireland on parade. Dahi I'd like to see. I like what he does. Yeah, I think he's very good. He got the fiddle there, the violin, and he's doing the electronic thing with it. I think that's very unique. I think that's quite good. Yeah, fair play to him. But whoever went, I hope you had a good time. And if it's your thing, you enjoyed it. And for those who are into the electronica, well, you're here, and I've got a nice little showcase for you. There's no taxi moment this week either, because there was moaning and groaning. So, and there was a big hula bala as well about light rail online the last night, and well, I've just said to them, look, you sort out your own problems from now on, and I'm done trying to sort out your problems because you're the only ones that can sort out your problems, and your problems are deep, 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 deep rooted, and until you figure that out, there's nothing I can do for you. I've done everything I can for you. I've given you. You can bring a horse to water. In this case, a tram or a bus rapid transit. You can bring a bus rapid transit into the eyes, the hearts and minds of people, and if they're not able to understand the sense of it, there's nothing more you can do. I mean, unless you want to pay me to teach you, then I'll do that. If you want to pay me, fine, grand, yeah, no problem at all. I was looking at the William Henry article as well. That was got to do with 1504, and of course, William, it was really nothing, as the old song goes. Skimmed over a few facts, you know, like a little song, a little dance. You like Burke's head on a lance, you know. I left out a lot, but anyway, look. Well, I suppose history is written by the victors, of course, and that's it. But it's past and gone. There's no need to worry about it now. So I'm going to start off with your Erlend. This is so weit wie noch nie, which basically means never so far yet, or not so far yet. You know, so you'll hear the word fliegen said in this song quite a number of times. Fliegen is the German verb to anyone fly. So it's the song is all about flight and movement and mobility and transport. So I'm going to mix in. This is Jörgen Pappe, and then I'll mix in Erlend to that, and then it's kind of like an insert of his old album, like, you know. So I wanted to kind of, you know, resume that, and then I'm going to play some Meeker, and then I'll play a tune for myself, which is Josheen. I'm going to play Soda Cake this week because it's a nice kicking tune. It's one of my best tunes, I think. And then there'll be music also from Orbital, Funk Devoid, and Fleetwood Mac. So enjoy. So I'm going to start off. This is Jörgen Pappe with So weit wie. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. So weit wie noch nie. Ja. Enjoy.
Ja,
Sense of the electronic, that European electronic sound, all the way that it would stretch in maybe Northern Europe. You'd hear that sound a lot, and it encapsulates it, quite well. And when it came out, I remember it well because we listened to that DJ Kicks album, quite frequently, and that album was the kind of backing track to our time in Galway during the mid-noughties, when we were in the mid-20s. So a big shout out to Fergal, Dave, Jer, Donny, the Nuns Island crew, and the medicine students that were among us as well, and we were among them, whatever way you want to look at it. Of course, there are medicine students; they're quite special, but so they're So a big shout out to all of them. We had some good times. We really did have some good times, and there was a lot of understanding made, even though we stretched across professions and stretched across topic. It was nice to get in touch with medicine. It was nice to get in touch with other sides. Like I was more of an economic side of things. Dave would be IT. Jer was more graphics. It was a nice little crew. We're always like sharing, hatred of things and ideas of things. So yeah, I did go to a gig or two with them in the Josheen, Dove, at that time. Like they were into looking at bands and that. So I went to that a few times. I went to see the De Laurentiis or something, and they were okay. Only okay. But anyway, I'm going to move on. This next tune is for my very special friend Boo Boo. If you're listening to Boo Boo, I hope everything's okay. And don't worry so much. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. This is from Meeker. It's called Save Me. And the tune after that will be from me. It's called, Orbital. And then the tune after that's from me. Anyway, Meeker, Save Me.
They say if you seek, you're sure to find. And I know how true that is. 'Cause the closer I get to you, baby, you're driving me clean out of my mind. So say
Orbital Lush 3.1. Soda Cake by Josheen, which is myself.
Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly, 3345 West, Flet FM,
3345 West Flat FM. 3345 West is best. Joe Kelly, Flat FM.
West is Vesh. Joe Kelly, 3345 West, Flet FM.
the soda cake one time. Some people in Galway find it funny. I don't know why. It's actually a very colloquial term in Limerick, believe it or not. So basically someone from Thomondgate who lived on the north side of the river. The reason those people are called soda cakes is because during the siege of Limerick, here's a history lesson for you now, and hopefully William Henry writes an article about this, and no doubt he'll have another angle. Or no angles at all. Nonetheless, yeah, so people from Thomondgate in Limerick City, they are called soda cakes because during the siege of Limerick, 1690, 1691, now I might find myself corrected, but it was around then anyway, the English, of King Billy's army, led by King Billy, were on the north side of the river, and the Limerick folk had chopped down the bridge that was crossing over to the castle, and man, woman and child manned the walls, and they held siege to it, and they held out. The Limerick people held out. But on the other side of the river, the locals in Thomondgate, they were making soda bread, so little cakes, like a blah in Waterford, they call it. But they were fed the English soldiers with the bread. So people from Thomondgate it's a vis-a-vis term for selling out. There's a soda cake, but I didn't sell out. I metaphorically never sold out. I've never bowed the knee to the mainstream, not yet, and I've never bowed the knee to commercialization of music practices, not yet. You go on your own at that stage if you want to do something, if you can. It's tougher now than it was maybe 25 years ago. But nonetheless, that's where the word soda cake comes from, and I dedicated that song to Limerick City because at the time I made it, I felt the memories of Limerick come to the fore and the good times I had there. And you know what? Funnily enough, I should mention it. Someone said it to me the first time I played it. I was in Galway, and someone said, "Oh man, you butchered that with samples. Why'd you do that?" I said, "Well, because you can't record it and claim it for yourself. Number one, because you probably would, because you're lazy. And number two, if you did, you'd probably make an absolute hames of it. So you have to protect these things, in a lot of ways, from, like the article about the 2020 article. I've seen it on Galway BO there. It's saying that the 2020 is a massive scam and all this. I glanced over it. Like, I'm not getting into it. Like I said at the start of the show, sort out your own problems. Your own problems are deep. And, that old word nepotism, understand what that means, and then work from that point onward to avoid it. And a lot of problems probably will be solved, if not all problems will be solved in terms of organising, planning, and managing things, So, quality fare is kept with a keen eye for talent, not a keen eye for the cousin, I hope that doesn't tempt some of them either. But anyway, at the same time too, in Limerick they were like, oh, great tune, yeah, and I was there, yeah. Which I remember going down soon after, and it's a great tune, fair play to you, fair play to you, play a tune for Limerick. No one ever does that, only the Rubber Bandits and those people. And I was there, you're grand, like, you know what I mean? I was part of the furniture here for a long time, like, you made me feel so at home. You embraced me openly, like, and there was no qualms, there was no who you related to, none of that crack. They took you at face value, you spoke, you had a laugh, you had great wit, and, people got on with you, and, all the world was grand then. But in Galway, I love Galway too, but I'm born here, but at the same time too, there's elements of Galway I don't like, and that's kind of a negative element in it I don't like. And I butchered that with samples. You go downtown for a burger, you shouldn't have butchered with samples. You're poor man. It's kind of like, just, are you alive? You just, is there someone put a chip in your head, and controlling you from a machine? And what, sometimes you have to wonder what's going through their heads sometimes. But nonetheless, it's a good tune, I think, all the same. And I'm going to move on to more good tunes. And this tune is from... I don't have long left. I got 15 minutes left, so I might I was going to play a tune from Mura, but I might just skip that and play Funk the Void tune, which is Emotional Content, which is a good tune. Funk the Void are quite good. Yeah, they're an American kind of side of. I think they're American or French maybe, but they're definitely not the usual UK come Germany path of electronic music. And this is Funk the Void with Emotional Content. So I'll play one more tune before I sign out, which will be from Fleetwood Mac. I never play Fleetwood Mac, but I'm going to play a Fleetwood Mac tune here tonight on the end, just to give it that old, Stevie Nicks kind of feel. Okay, enjoy.
3345 West Flood FM. 3345 West is best. Joe Kelly, Flood FM.
reasonably good track, you know. Not a lot of people have heard of Funky Void. You know, they're not on the go anymore, but you know, they made some really good tunes. That's one thing about them. Yeah, so I think Sinead le on Seachtain Ella, agus Fáilte Roimh, oh Jesus, I'm Seafóid. Yeah, Tommy Seafóid Janish, Come leis céal. Gudí an seo se hugan, Gudí an Seachtain se hugan, Benedict Lev, agus Torchara don Lev freshen. So until the next show and next week, you know, enjoy. And yeah, I suppose the weather is not going to be too good, I don't think, for the next couple of days. But I suppose, you know, it's not too cold yet. It's not so cold yet. So there's time to still, you know, have a dip in the sea before it drops, I think. Anyway, I'm going to end it on that. I'm going to leave you with this. This is Fleetwood Mac's Seven Wonders. There was the eighth wonder at the weekend. The wonder how the bloody price of that was so high. But the Seven Wonders I'd like to think about more because you know yourself. They're pleasing to the eye and you get what
electronica, indie, and the avant-garde, includes the Alan Quinn Fitness old school anthems, and premieres from local and national artists. For Galway's best transport solutions, check out UNIP, Bus Rapid Transit System Design, at issy.com/AGP Ireland, or alternatively search for the Atlantic Greenway project on your web browser. Public transport for the people, public transport by the people. The Atlantic Greenway project on your web browser. Public transport for the people, public transport by the people. The Atlantic Greenway project, the people. Public transport for the people, public transport by the people. For Galway's best mobility solutions, the Atlantic Greenway project, public transport for the people, public transport by the people.